What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Geeks and Company and another episode of the After Show. You're not seeing thing that's right. I am alone here. This is just a quick intro. Our last video, our finale for Star Trek Picard, unfortunately went on so long, we did have to split it into 2 episodes. So this is part 2 of that chat. Make sure you stick with us till the end. And make sure you click that like and subscribe button and enjoy the show.
This was going to come. It's basically like, son, I love you. And Jack's like, I'm not leaving. I finally feel like I'm part of something. And Jean-Luc's like, okay, if you're staying, I'm staying. And then he puts his hand on Jack's chest and then they hug. And then Jack starts to remember.
And then that's when he says, I love you, Imzadi. And then she's like, oh,
I know where they are.
I know where they are.
Yeah.
And then they fly they fly in and then handbrake, beam him out, fly out, poof, come out of the friggin' fireball. He wakes up, right? The assimilation is over. The queen's dead. Everybody wakes up. And you've got, LaForge's daughters and half of the, lower decks of the friggin' Titan on the bridge pointing their phasers at Seven, and they all wake up and they're like, what the fuck? I'm so sorry.
Sydney LaForge starts crying. She's like, I'm so sorry. So you could tell that they remembered what they were doing when they were part of the collective.
For sure.
She was like,
I think
upset
one key
about
thing is that Picard, after the fact, and I think that's why they played on that so much in First Contact, is he remembers it all, right? When Picard gets unassimilated, it's not like that's gone.
No, he
right?
remembers.
Those experiences stay with him, right? Yep. So, if for sure, that's just that is craziness to me.
Yep.
Right? Being controlled like that and doing all these awful things and murdering and destroying planets and killing people and Wolf 359 and remembering it all after you're all back in normal. That's where I think that speech that Shaw made in the bar about Wolf 359 really hits home when you realize, it really was him. No, it wasn't him in control, but to him,
it was still him.
To Picard sitting in that bar that day, he remembers it all. It was him doing all these things, right? So yeah, it's they hit on so many little points in the season, dude.
They really did.
Blows my mind.
And then they really do, to kind of close out the episode, they sort of tie up most of the loose ends as far as that goes.
They do. They go to 1 year. Yeah, 1 year later.
Yeah, not initially. Initially, Riker does a log, and he says Starfleet Captain's log, Stardate 1. I guess. And they show the D and the Titan flying side by side, talking about a new day with friends, new and old, blah, blah, blah. And then, I'm not sure when the 1 year later happens, if that happens before, because they do talk about how they're able to put everyone through the transporter to undo what the changelings had done. And she's asked to fix the transporter. So not only will it fix the people, but it will also detect changelings again.
And then they catch one.
They
show you catching a changeling, which I thought was pretty neat.
And then as Riker continues to this narrative over, he says that in a lot of cases, the people that the changelings had replaced, they didn't kill or get rid of. They had simply kept them trapped or prisoner. And then we get a shot of
cut to
Tim Russ, who is the actual Tuvok and not the shapeshifter Tuvok. And he is talking with Seven and basically saying that everyone's getting a full pardon for hijacking the Titan and doing all this crazy shit that they were doing. They're talking on the Titan, by the way. And Seven, of course, is like, I'm going to save you the trouble, man. Cool. You can take this job and you can shove it. I'm all done. And Tuvok's like, oh, well, I mean, you could do that, but we did get one last, this was sent to us before you guys even left for the Rayton system by your captain. This was your employee review. Do you want to hear it? And he hits the button and we get our boy Shaw in what I'm assuming, we're going to talk about the mid-credit scene, so we don't know quite yet, but what I'm assuming is that dude's final appearance, and basically says that she's impetuous and she's reckless and she's a pain in my ass and she breaks all the rules, but she's honest and she's loyal and she's brave and I see great things in her, and it's my recommendation she should be promoted to captain when we get back to port. And that's exactly what Tuvok does. He promotes her to captain at that point. So this is all still, we haven't hit the 1 year later yet. This is still happening within this certain time frame or what have you. It was nice to see Shaw again, obviously. And we get some very rare emotionality from Seven, like actual tears, which I don't know if we've ever, I mean, I don't remember every single appearance of hers on Voyager, but it's very rare for her to get that emotional. And then we actually get some stuff with Raffi as well. We get some closure on that. Her son wants her to meet her granddaughter, and she says that everybody in the world knows what I did, and I'm getting all these commendations for heroism, and somebody leaked that.
Somebody leaked all of her information and exploits and everything to media, and all of a sudden everybody knows or thinks that she's the one that saved Earth, right?
And then Worf is right there, and Worf is like, it was some honorable maverick. And she says, a dear friend. And then the guy that doesn't like to be hugged hugs Raffi.
Yeah.
And she looks all like weirded about it. Now, again, Raffi is probably everyone's least favorite character. And because it's basically the Magnificent Seven and then just her and 7 of 9, obviously, too. But she does feel like an add-on or an afterthought a little bit. At least there was closure to her storyline. They didn't just leave her twisting in the wind. She's going to get back reunited with her family. So that was good.
She's really the only character. Well, and 7, I suppose. But 7 was an existing character. She's the only new character that was introduced in Picard season 1 that has made it to the end.
Yep.
Everybody else has gone or died.
And then just to make sure we are not done with the levity, we get Data's counseling session while he's trying to deal with his human emotions. And Troy stands up and's like, we've gone over our time again. And then Data sits down and starts
by a half an hour.
And then Troy has to sit back down again. And she's looking at this. I'll look at her face like I'm so fucking dead. And then Data's talking and she's on her pad looking for like vacation spots. Go on. And Data's just la, 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 la. And Data finally realizes like, oh shit, sorry. Yes, I said, sorry. And then as he's leaving, he's like, same time tomorrow. And she's like, yeah, I can't wait, with her teeth clenched. So that was a very cute moment as well. And I think necessary. And then Riker's waiting outside and he walks in. And he's like, so is he still batshit crazy? And Troy's like, stop. Because all the best lines and levity moments are from Riker. And then we get 1 year later. So like you're saying, as they're zooming in on the Fleet Museum, that's when we get the sign that it's 1 year later.
And they're parking the Enterprise D and turning it off, which again, I bawled my eyes out when.
Yep. Probably the last we're going to get to see of it. That's probably the last time.
Terry Matalas
we didn't think we were going to get it at all.
Yeah, the 1 year later, I feel should have been right after that scene because, as I said, they're still wearing the same fucking clothes they were wearing on the Enterprise when they were fighting the Borg. So
I got you.
You're not going to tell me 1 year later they're all still standing there looking the same, and finally now turning the Enterprise off a year later.
I do find it interesting, though, that the 3 that they chose to be standing on that bridge was not the 3 that you would think. Like, you would think it would have been Picard, Riker, and Data, because those were the 3 most popular characters on the show. But it's actually Picard, Riker, and Geordi, which I thought was a very inspired choice and the right choice, because at the end of the day, it's Geordi's ship. Like, he's the one that put this together. He's the one that's saying, like, we wouldn't be who we are without her. Like, this ship made us who we are.
And it's funny that he said that, because that was clearly purposefully written into the script, because Terry Matalas did an interview where that interview was finally released after last week's episode came out.
Right.
Because it spoiled the Enterprise D. And in his own word, he said, how can we possibly do a Next Generation reunion without one of its main characters?
Right.
The Enterprise D.
Yep.
Right. I want to mention also that, Geordi turns it off.
Yeah.
Right. As they leave the Enterprise, Geordi,
because it's by the way, it's parked at the Fleet Museum with the rest of the older ships now.
Correct. And he's like, computer, initiate shutdown sequence. And then you hear Majel Barrett's voice, and Riker goes, "Oh, I missed that.
I miss that voice.
I missed that voice, which is very cute. Yes, because for those that don't know, Majel Barrett was the wife of Gene Roddenberry, and she has also passed. So anything you're hearing with her voice, I don't know if that's just clips that they've taken from the previous shows and films, or if it's an AI generation like they've done with Luke Skywalker and such. I don't know. Either way,
but it is her voice.
It's her voice. It's 100% her voice. And that was, again, another nice little nod from Riker, saying, and then Picard says to Geordi, by the way, Picard says to Geordi, take good care of her, Geordi. And Geordi's like, I will, because as always, she's taken very good care of us.
Yeah.
I was like, good job, boys. Good job.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the end of the D.
That is the end of the, well, I mean, the end of the D for now.
And then I feel like is when it should have said 1 year later. Because then we jump to Picard, Crusher, and Jack in a shuttlecraft.
Yep.
And Jack is standing in there in a Starfleet uniform. And in 1 year, he's now become an ensign. Crusher even makes a comment about, they don't typically put people through an accelerated program like this. Like this, understand that this means a lot. So he goes, oh, well, I'm sure the name had something to do with it. I'm sure the family name had something to do with it. Picard's like, names mean nothing. Like in the grand scheme of things, you're flying across space. Names mean nothing. Crusher's like, don't be so nervous. Like, why? Like with everything that you've been through, like, why are you so nervous? Like you've been in firefights, you've been in blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I'm not nervous. And then when Picard's like, oh, I wonder what ship they're assigning you to. And he makes a comment of, well, why do you think I'm so nervous? And then they show the ship. They show the ship, and it's like, Picard goes, it's the Titan. Of course. That makes total sense. And then Jack's like, but is it? And as the shuttlecraft lifts up over the saucer section, you can clearly see it's not the Titan. It's the USS Enterprise, NCC 1701 G. The new Enterprise. So they rename the Titan the Enterprise, which I'm guessing means that it's no longer the flagship of the Federation, because usually the Enterprise is always the flagship. I'd be surprised that a small ship like the Titan would be their flagship, but either way, it's now the new Enterprise that Jack is now going to be serving on, and Jack goes on board. And he shows up on the bridge, and he's like,
helm, set a course for the Metallic system,
set a course for the Metallic system, maximum warp, engage.
Tactical, ready torpedoes and phasers.
Yeah,
I don't know what we're walking through here. And then he sits in the captain's chair, and his ass isn't even in it. She's like, out.
She's like, out. He's like, I'm just getting comfortable. She's like, out. That's my chair.
Yeah.
And then she turns around to LaForge, and she's like, please disregard anything he's just said. And she's like, I always do.
I always do. And he's like, yep, we're a bunch of ne'er-do-wells and rule breakers, really. And Raffi, by the way, so
Raffi's first officer.
Yeah, so Seven is now she's been promoted to captain. She's captain of the USS Enterprise G. Raffi has been, I guess, I don't know what you call it, reinstated as a bridge officer.
Yeah.
As the first officer for Seven, which is going to be weird since they were in a relationship before and now one's in charge of the other. So that's not going to be awkward at all. And then Jack ends up being she's the captain's counselor, which I mean,
special counselor to the captain. So he's the new Troy, I guess.
Yeah, but just to the captain, I don't
know.
I don't know either. I mean, I know he's a pain in the ass. I know he's kind of been all around the galaxy, but he's also
like
that's
20 their way of
years old.
Making him part of the command crew without
and because he gets to sit up on the dais with them too.
Right.
Like I get it, but you want to have all the pretties up in one spot. But then they're about to jet out to warp out to their first mission. And in a bit of a throwback to what we just saw, because by the way, they just dropped the season 2 teaser trailer for Strange New Worlds. And Spock has a chance, Ethan Peck Spock has a chance to say his line before they go to warp. And they zoom right out on his face, and Spock says,
make the ship go.
I would like the ship to go now. And so she tells Seven, she's like, this is important. What are you going to say? And Seven kind of looks around, and she opens her mouth to go say it.
Jack's like, engage, make it so.
Yeah.
Like, what's it going to be? That you're writing your own story now.
This is the beginning of your legacy. What are you going to do? And then they cut away.
And then they cut to the ship bolting to warp, and we never hear what she actually says.
Always leave them wanting more. Always leave them wanting more. And if that's not the
end.
backdoor pilot to that show, I don't know what is. So
I really hope it is. I really, really, really hope that we get more adventures with the Enterprise and it's Seven at the command. I really, really, really hope that's what this is all about.
Well, I find it interesting because I know it was already a packed episode. I know already so many things happened this episode. I know we even got him on a holo, but there's still not a lot of mention of Shaw in this episode. Like there's not like they don't have a memorial for him. They don't have a service for him. They don't do it. All we have is that little holo that Tuvok presents that basically is how Seven gets command of her own ship. So I'm wondering if they're glossing over it because now I should say I'm running my mouth because I know Terry Matalas recently, they were talking to him about the death of Shaw in the last episode. And apparently him and the actor for Shaw already have it worked out that if they're given the green light to have more and they have a way for Shaw to come back that works, apparently. So I'm wondering if that's why they didn't make a big deal out of Shaw's death in this episode, because they may have already had plans laid to bring Shaw back.
Maybe he's not dead. I think that's the point. They never say specifically that he's dead.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, when Shaw is left behind on the Titan, on the ground bleeding and dying, who's with him?
Seven.
And what does Seven have in her body?
Well, Borg stuff. Yeah. No, exactly.
Borg nanoprobes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like it could be one of those things where last minute she injects him with Borg nanoprobes, which keeps him alive long enough for them to save him.
Them to have medical. Yeah, maybe. Right? I don't know. They said they had Matalas said he had a very cool, beautiful way of bringing him in or bringing him back or whatever you want to say. Yeah. So, and then we go to 10 forward and we get the Seven having drinks. Picard is bartending, by the way. They're all having drinks, and I'm willing to bet this was one of those scenes because Jonathan Frakes talked about it on that podcast that I was talking about, how difficult it was to direct it when it was the seven of them, because they would just fuck around so much on the set, laughing and joking and having a good time, that they couldn't get any good footage.
But I feel like a lot of
they just turned the cameras on,
and
just let them riff on whatever they were talking about.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah. So they're pouring drinks, and they have initially they were going to have Data do the toast, and then they actually have Picard do the toast, and he gives us a line.
Well, like we gotta make this quick because Guinan's been giving us a side eye for the last half hour over there,
which they don't show, by the way, which is fine. Guinan. That's okay. They
but you know that she's like, dude, like we're fucking closed, man. Like get the hell out of here, right? Like that's what's going on.
Yeah. Yes. So Picard gives us a stirring Shakespearean speech, and everybody's talking about how we're going to pack up and go to bed. And it's already late, and it's been fun. And even Riker's like, it's been great, and it's all cheers. And then Picard behind the bar whips out
a playing card,
a deck of cards,
ace of spades,
and they're going to play poker because it's the one thing we haven't seen them do that they did a lot of on the show. That I'm so glad they included this. If they hadn't, I would have thought about it after. During the episode, I wasn't like, oh, I wish they played poker. I like days from now, I've been like, oh, they never played poker, but they made sure they put that in there. And that's such a fantastic way to end that series with them.
It's another little thing that shows me that Terry Matalas not only understands and knows Star Trek, but that he's an actual fan like we are. To include a little nub, like it just, you know.
And you know what? Even more, little bit, and I'm probably maybe I'm just imagining it, but you only see them play one hand, and Picard wins the hand because it's Picard's show. So I kind of felt like that was a little bit on purpose. Like, let's not forget who the big swinging dick is on this show. I know we brought everybody back, and it probably looks like Papa Riker over there, but it's Picard's show. Let's make sure we understand.
Yeah, Picard goes all in.
That's right,
and wins the hand.
That's right.
And the end credits, unfortunately, we don't get that beautiful end credit sequence that we've been getting all season.
No, because
we get the end credits to the camera twisting and rising above the poker table as they're playing there.
Yep.
To the Next Generation theme.
And then we get
a mid-credit scene.
We actually get a mid-credit scene.
So
someone's unpacking in his quarters. Jack is unpacking in his quarters on the newly christened Enterprise.
yeah.
And he's visited by a certain somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Who could that certain somebody be?
Well, I feel like that certain somebody being there cheapens the emotional roller coaster they put me on at the end of last season, because fucking Q is not dead. Q shows up in Jack's quarters, and
Now,
quarters
Jack
like,
actually says, "Aren't you dead?"
yeah, he's like, hey, I know who you are. You're Q,
Yeah.
aren't you?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, how are you here? He's like, I thought you were dead.
Yeah. And Q's
And
like,
Q makes
you
something to the reference of, but yet
mortals.
here I am, right?
No, that's not what he says. He's like, you mortals always think linearly.
Right.
So some timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff going
So
on
this
there.
is potentially a past Q, right?
Correct.
And then Jack says something to the effect that, my father told me your trial on humanity was over.
It's like it is.
And
for
he's
him.
like, Picard's trial is over. Yours is just beginning.
Oh, come on, man. Like, are you telling me?
And that's
How
it.
is that not a lead into another show?
It has to be.
It absolutely has to be. I understand your point about it cheapening last season and the death scene and everything. I get all of that, but I don't fucking care, because if we get Delancey back as Q, and this time in a meatier role than he had on season 2 of Picard, like in a better role, I am fucking here for it, man. Like, sign me the fuck up. Because it was really the only major thing that was missing from this. Not the only thing. There's a bunch of major things missing from this one, from the TNG
there's a
era
couple
days,
loose ends still, like the new Borgs, and there's some stuff that they didn't cover.
Right.
The emotional stuff, the stuff that they knew that fans would want to see, they touched on. The show started in 1987, 86, 87. I can't remember now.
87.
And the first episode, who was the first villain of all time?
Q.
And who introduced Starfleet and the Federation to the Borg?
Q. And
now we got the Borg are gone, and fucking Q is back. But although I think we're almost done. I mean, that's where the show ended. Again, very, very emotional show for me. They got me at every fucking corner.
Yep.
From right at the beginning, where Picard's speech to Deanna's look at Riker as the doors are closing on the turbolift and they're going away, to the Enterprise.
This whole season, dude. This whole season just rang me through it, man. Just put me through the ringer.
Like, I've never cried at a TV show or movie like I have on this season of Picard. It's insane to me.
And as mad as we are that it took this long, and as upset that we are, it still feels good that we were able to get a swan song that, especially for people that really didn't like Nemesis, that kind of washes the taste of Nemesis. Like, this is the send-off that we needed to have for this crew. Nobody died. Like, Data, the spoiler alert, Data dies at the end of Nemesis, which they reference in this season of Picard. Actually, I think they referenced it in the first season of Picard too. Nobody dies. Everybody's, you know what I mean, other than Shaw, but nobody from the original crew dies. This was not just a love letter. This was the send off we needed. Even on the D, like everything, man. Like that's where I'm appreciative. I'm mad as hell too. It sucks that it took us this long and we had to go through another 2 seasons of Picard to get here, but at least we got the proper send off for our crew. Because now, I mean, I want a continuation, but I don't want them involved. This was it. I really don't.
I get why they
would, but it feels like it would cheapen this if they did. You know what I mean?
I'm on the fence. I want the stories to continue. I think that there's still a lot of space in the 24th century for more Trek. I think they've shown us with this show and the Titan and this new crew that they can still do shows in this time period. And if they do stay in this time period, I feel like it would be a missed opportunity if they don't pepper small cameos here and there, right? And I know you're saying I don't want them involved, and that's fine. I don't necessarily want them involved in the thick of the storyline either. I don't want the story to become about the Enterprise D crew. But if it means seeing Admiral Crusher at one point on a
Yeah,
view
but would you
screen
really
giving
want
an
her just like
order,
just a walk-on
or
cameo though? Like that would seem like it would cheapen it, wouldn't it?
I don't think so, because we know now that they're continuing on. We know now that Crusher is an admiral. We know now that, like, you know what I mean? Like, they've set the pieces in place now for more.
Yeah.
So as much as I don't necessarily want more stories with them, I want a story with the new crew.
Mhm.
I don't think having cameos here and there, like you said, just a regular, just quick walk-on cameo. Um, Look at how much people freaked out when Will Riker showed up on fucking Lower Decks. On
Yeah.
Lower Decks, right? A
Yeah, yeah.
cartoon. And
Yeah, but
people
that's
lost their
but
minds.
that's before this.
Still,
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, obviously, listen, Patrick Stewart's not getting any younger. I
No,
don't know that
he's
we're
done.
gonna.
No.
Yeah,
He's
we're
definitely
not.
done. And I
Yeah.
don't imagine we would see a lot more of, like you said, Admiral Crusher. The one person that I could see doing a bunch, like coming back in a significant role, would be Geordi, actually, because a
And
lot of the
Worf.
show would already focus on his two daughters, so he would already be around
Mhm.
anyways. I could see him being around, and yeah, maybe Worf too. Still keeping in mind with the whole, I'm Starfleet until whatever
'Cause the
Worf is, but
only one of the crew right now that's officially retired is Picard,
right,
right? Everybody else
yeah,
is still Starfleet.
right,
You know, Riker's still a captain, and
yeah.
Crusher's now an admiral, and Worf is also still I think a captain,
I
and
assume he would be a captain, and Geordi's a commandant, and
Geordi's a commandant, and
yeah,
so on
yeah.
and so forth, right? So, I think we're gonna have quick cameos, but I don't think they're gonna be ever part of a big thing like this ever again.
Guys, this is pie in the sky. We don't even know if there's going to be another show. Yes, they've absolutely set it up with a
There
stinger
has
for
to
there to
be.
be another show. But right now, the only two things that we know that are coming down the pipe that are greenlit for sure and announced officially are Starfleet Academy, which will be an episodic show that's going to be based on a young adult or a teen audience. And then the newly announced Section 31 movie that they're going to be shooting with Michelle Yeoh that will be premiering on the Paramount Plus network streaming service. So it'll be a 2-hour streaming movie event instead of a series as it was originally planned to be, because frankly, she's an Academy Award winner now. They don't have availability to shoot an entire TV series with her, but she is picking up her role, Georgiou, of course, in the money too. But Georgiou, she is picking up the role that she played on Discovery, and they're going to explore that side of that aspect of that character. So that's the
Now, the
only
one
two
thing
things that
here,
we know that are greenlit beyond additional seasons of shows that we already have.
yeah,
So
and the one thing that we do know is that by the time Georgiou gets to Section 31, they're already in the future.
sure.
Right? They're already in the year 3000, whatever.
Well, no, but she goes through the Guardian of Forever, right? So that could take her anywhere.
Oh, she does. You're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she could literally be anywhere, anytime at this point.
You're
So,
right. I
yeah,
totally
yeah.
forgot about that. And maybe that's what the movie's going to be about. Maybe it's
Quite
going to be
possibly.
Section 31 through different time
different
periods.
eras.
Oh, that would be wicked.
Yep.
Oh, that would be awesome. And I love her. Michelle
No,
Yeoh,
how do you not?
I
No, she's fantastic.
love her.
Yeah,
I've loved
fantastic.
her since the first time I saw her. The first time I saw her was in
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I think it was
Yes.
Crouching Tiger. Was
That's
the
I
first
think
time I saw
where
her.
most people, because I think that was her
And-
first mainstream North American role. So
listen, she's so good. I
Yeah.
freaking,
No, I love her.
even though that her last movie, even though it won all these awards, I didn't think was that great. I still think she's fucking amazing.
she's a fantastic actor.
Absolutely love that actress.
Yep.
I love that not only can she do the physical kung
Kick-ass.
fu is strong,
Yeah.
but she's such a great actress, right? Like you totally believe her in
Oh
whatever
no,
role
she's
in,
she's
right?
really, really good. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. I
Yep.
can't wait for that to come out. But for now, we really don't know if there's going to be anything coming out of this. We don't really know if the Titan is going to have, or the new Enterprise is going to have its own series. It would be a missed opportunity, I think, if they don't do anything with that.
I would agree, but I feel like I'm Jeremy Renner in Avengers Endgame. Don't do that. Don't give me hope. Like I don't want to get my hopes up too. Once
They've
the
already done
ratings
it.
come out, like once the ratings and the critical reviews come out for this full season of Picard, and they see how well this was received, I don't know how you don't have Terry Matalas head up another Star Trek show. I don't know how you don't do that. So, and at this point, I don't even know if I care what it is. I want a continuation of this crew and this story, but as long as Matalas is involved, I have faith that it'll be good.
So if this is what Matalas can do with the next gen, imagine what he can do with a brand new crew.
Yeah, exactly.
And a brand new show.
Yeah, yeah.
And the crazy stories that he can come up with.
Of course. By the way, we never did see Admiral Janeway.
No.
All the references. We got Tuvok, but we didn't get Janeway. So maybe that's something they can save for a future thing.
We got Tuvok. We saw Voyager itself.
Yep.
They even played the Voyager theme song when they showed us the Voyager.
Yep.
7 of 9 obviously heavily featured in this.
Of course.
Yes. There was no Ensign Harry Kim because he's probably still an ensign at this point, but no Janeway.
No Janeway. So maybe something that they got in their back pocket for future.
The thing is she's heavily featured in Prodigy.
Right? Oh, I know.
She's essentially one of the main characters now, albeit in animation.
Yeah.
It is her.
But she's involved, right?
She's the voice of
Kate
Janeway,
Mulgrew
right?
is, absolutely.
Yeah.
So she's involved. So hopefully that means, if there's going to be continuation, we can.
Yeah.
We can.
And we're getting Chakotay in season 2, by the way.
Prodigy, yes.
Prodigy.
Yeah. Yep.
So that will be nice as well. Like we're getting some of the Voyager references for the massive Voyager fans. Yeah. But yes, you're right. Where a lot of people were really hoping for Janeway to show up.
Didn't see her. That's a very, very small complaint. Otherwise, this season, Picard, chef's kiss. You killed it, Terry Matalas. You beautiful, magnificent bastard. You killed it. You killed us all. It may go down as the greatest season of Trek that's ever been. So
for Paramount Plus, I mean, I doubt any of you guys are watching this, but if there's any Paramount Plus executives watching this, you guys are fucking idiots if you don't make Terry Matalas the head of all Star Trek.
He should be
Terry Matalas for sure. Should be the Kevin Feige, the Dave Filoni, of Star Trek.
Agreed.
There's no doubt in my mind now seeing what he what was reinforced to me is when I started watching interviews on YouTube with Terry Matalas and realized this guy's me.
Yeah.
Like he's literally me. He's my age. He grew up watching these shows. Fuck, he even looks like me. Like
that's your next cosplay. Just tell people.
Guys, I'm serious. Terry Matalas needs to head at least another show.
At least another show.
Let's
give him one more show, and if he kills that show the way he killed this show, then you just hand him Star Trek. 100%. I agree. Yep.
Yeah. Terry Matalas for president.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's wrap this up here, kids.
Yeah, guys. I think the next time you're going to see an after show, because this is it. Mando's done. Picard is done. The next time you're going to see an after show is probably going to be for Strange New Worlds.
Yep.
Unless something else crazy comes out that we weren't expecting in the meantime that we decide to do an after show about. But I think the next one's probably going to be Strange New Worlds.
I would assume so.
So in the meantime, everybody, live long and prosper. Make sure you stay geeky. Click that like button. Thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate the traffic we've been getting with these after shows. We'll see you in June.